And there we are. It's Friday once again, everyone. It's rolled around again. It doesn't seem that long ago since it was, you roused from your slumber by the alarm clock and that slow, dismal, dawning realization that it's Monday morning again. And then suddenly here we are again and it's Friday. Cheers, everyone. It's time for a beer. Carlsberg Export, as usual tonight. I think I'm pretty much permanently set on that these days. I've acquired a taste for it. It's a very smooth, very, very gluggable beer, that. And yes, and it will be glugged tonight, I can assure you. All right, let's see who's first in and who we've got in. Straight through the door, Rent to Kill, and then Fiend Tunes. Dave Fiendish, David James, Silent Hybrid, Terry Day, Boulder 64, and who else have we got? I've got Wind, Peter Collins, Malcolm Spillett, Johnny Random, who's going to be late on Lates again, so he's going to be, in around about 5:30. Well, we await your arrival, mate. There's Auto Geddon 1. Who's had a bit of a nasty day at work. Well, I hope it's the weekend, mate. Just, if you can, just park that until Monday morning. It's at times like this when, if I was that kind of person, I would put my smug face on because, this is my work. Mind you, I do long hours. Haven't had a holiday in 10 years, but there you go. Anyway, we've got Francis Chambers, Stephen Polk, John Ross, Joe McMurray, Dr. Gomez 1, Stephen Hedger. What are you saying there, mate? Loved you playing on the Harley Benton P90 Gold Top. The blues definitely brings the best of your playing out. Good to see you having fun, and that's what it's all about in the end. Well, thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. I enjoyed doing that, and then to my dismay, when I uploaded the video, it was copyright claimed. That spontaneous one-take improvised jam that I did over a backing track that I recorded using a chord sequence that is the 12-bar blues, which is in the public domain, it got copyright claimed. And, you can challenge it, but the people who adjudicate on your challenge are the same people who ruled that you've infringed someone's copyright in the first place. So good luck with that one. And if it's deemed to be a frivolous challenge, then it can spell the end of your channel. So is it really worth rolling the dice on that one? So I'm just going to have to be a bit careful on how I do blues jams in future. I've done another one recently that I uploaded that was in a different key, so that one got through. That one got past the old copyright wombles. But as I say, I'm going to have to be a little bit slippery to just make sure I don't tread on any imaginary copyright toes. Anyway, rant over. We've got PFY Guitars and Grandpa Joe wishing us, as always, a happy and safe weekend to you. And saying, for those of you in the US, daylight savings this weekend, UK changes on, it's actually the end of this month. We don't change on May the 30th. I think it's the back end. I think it's March the 30th we change. But yes, we will be out of sync for a week or two. So please tie a knot in something and try and remember that. Then we got Mickey Walnuts and Mark Kerno, Peter Nicholson, Francis Chambers, Grumpy Horses in. So is Chip Young, Johnny D, Chris Ottawell, and Doc Alders. Who else we got? Vincent Brennan, Gordo Canuck, Michael Purcell, Anton is in, so is Paul Trainer, who, as usual, regular as clockwork. You can set your watch by this chap every week, a couple of quid in the beer fund. Thank you very much, Paul. It is massively appreciated, mate. Then there's Jimmy James, 60s man, Austin Barrett, And who else we got? Session guitar legend Gary Shaw is in the house, everyone. Gary very kindly sent me a really nice pedal that I haven't even unboxed yet because I haven't had time. So there will be a review or some kind of video content coming up featuring that pedal. Gary, thank you so much for your generosity and for your patience in waiting for me to do it. And speaking of pedals, you might remember, was it last week I did that video on the how to get the Rockman tone without actually getting a Rockman. Well, some very kind and generous soul, you know who you are, has sent me a Rockman pedal, just a loan of it. So I'm going to be, pitting that against my guitar rig presets that I've dialed in. Do some sort of A/B test between them. That'll be a fun one to, kind of see if we can hear the difference, if we have a preference. Anyway, who else have we got? We got Jack Collins sitting there playing his Epiphone Dot. Rexomatic is in. I'm going to be talking about you in a moment. Excuse me. Greetings from Arizona. Unboxing a new guitar that arrived today. A Hills Headless HN5. I'm not sure I know that brand. But there's Cal Texper. The Lamb is in the house, everyone. Nice to see you, mate. Have you come to a decision about when you're going to be doing the live streams? Because I know the Monday one is finished, kaput, done, over. If you could... if maybe you've made an announcement, I don't know, but I just hope it means that it's on a night when I will be able to watch him a little bit more regularly. Who else have we got? We've got Robert Forsyth and Robin Fawcett, Cal B and the Rocco Cat, and who else? We've got Colin Falk and Triple Distilled, Ian Clark, and scrolling down, I see we've got Dave the Hermit, Martin Scholes, or is it Scholes? I do apologise, one of those is bound to be wrong. Mr. Chris 5254 is in, so is Darren Myers, and let's have a little bit of a look further down. Jay Aoyong is there as per usual, and Brad Dow, Bill Mumbo, and anyone else? Ollie M, Derek Clacton, and let's have a look. Greg H, Peter Williamson. I think I'm getting pretty much to the end of it now. Earl Colley, Steve Cassidy is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget Steve's video straight after this live stream. It will be... I think it's one of your Birmingham Guitar Show videos, isn't it, tonight, mate? Looking forward to watching that. I've been watching a little bit of the coverage today from other channels, and looks like it was a pretty good time had by all accounts. Anyone else we've got? We've got Ardis Bubba and Chip Young. If I said you already. Anyone else? George Wall is in the house, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh, Michael Purcell is there. I don't think I mentioned you yet. John Little and Nella Yemma is in. Graham Campbell, and that is right. Me caught up right with the chat. I'm just looking a little bit sort of Uncle Festerish under this light, aren't I? So let me just do a little bit of something with that. There. And it'll probably be too dark in a moment. But yes, got a couple of things to talk about tonight. I have an update on a couple of things, actually. The Red Carmageddon. Are we allowed to call that a gathering, or is it a festival? Is it just a bunch of like-minded people getting together to talk about guitars, drink beer, and eat curry? That's what it is in the end. Excuse me, the joys of live streaming when you forgot to put your phone on silent. What's that? Oh, it's Amazon telling me that my order has been delivered. I ordered this from Amazon today. One of these. And It's too long to explain, but it was. I needed that particular thing for a little project that I've got ongoing, and that was my phone just texting me to tell me that it had turned up. Yeah, so we've got an update coming up on the Red Carmageddon gathering of beer, guitars, and curry, where we're drinking beer, talking about guitars, and eating curry. That's coming up tonight, and a little bit of an update on my AgraJag custom build. I've had some fantastic news on that this week, and I'm hopping with excitement about it, to be honest with you. But first, before we get into any of that, let me tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. Sunday's video is the guitar that you saw in yesterday's video, that Harley Benton SC450 P90 GT, or is it GT P90? The Harley Benton Les Paul copy gold top with P90s. It's the full review of that guitar. Whether it's still a relevant review or not, I don't know, because it is a few years old, that particular example I had in here. But, we'll it'll give you a bit of an overview of what the guitar does and what it sounds like and how it performs in a mix. That is Sunday's video. Then last Monday was the last in the current series for the foreseeable future until the copyright wumbles get their knickers out of a twist. It was the last in the current series of solo analysis videos where I think we did the Derek and the Dominoes version of Little Wing. Well, what's coming up to replace that series of videos is like a kind of alternating series of melodic rock and blues lead guitar. And it's starting off on Monday with a little bit of an analysis, or is analysis too in-depth a word? A little bit of a look at some Santana-isms, the kind of things that Carlos Santana typically does when he's playing lead guitar, little things that you can incorporate into your own playing. It's not a Santana impersonation. I don't purport to do that, because there's always going to be somebody typing in the comments, you sound like nothing like Carlos Santana. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to employ some of the techniques and methodology that he uses in his playing, and you can find out what they are on Monday. And usual thing, solo, jam track, and everything. Then I did a video. Gosh, it's got to be thick end of 6 years ago now, where I was talking about the 3 most important music theory elements that you need to learn. And I thought, well, yeah, I should update that. And there was a couple of extra things I added onto the list. So Tuesday's video is a top 5 Tuesday, as you would expect, and it's the top 5 music theory things that you need to learn, the basics of music theory, that if you know these things, you can pretty much figure everything else that you're ever going to need to know out from these first principles. Then on Wednesday, another track from the new album. I can't remember, which one is it? We did Chicken Feet. No, it was Camel's. Oh, yeah, right. Next week it'll be the lead guitar part for Camel Skin, that sort of Eastern exotic Byzantine Pulp Fiction scale thing that was up this week. So I'm putting the melody together for that next week. And then on Thursday, it's a first impressions video, not really of this guitar. This is a Harley Benton Fusion T. Doesn't belong to me. Much too Liberace for my tastes, this one. This belongs to Bald there in the chat. He very kindly sent it up to me. He's going to swing by and pick it up at some point. But as you can see, it doesn't have the stock pickups. It has these humbucker-sized P90s in it. Specifically, these are Iron Gear Alchemist 90 pickups. And the videos that I'm doing with that guitar are very much, let's have a listen to these pickups. What do they sound like? Are they any good? Do they sound like proper P90s? All the usual things that people ask when they're talking about any kind of pickup. What does it sound like? How does it take gain? What's it like in terms of a clean sound? Etc., etc., etc. That's what we're doing on Thursday. And then after Thursday, it's Friday again, isn't it? All hail the ale. Right. let's get the housekeeping out the way. My good pal Rex, who you all know in the chat as Rexomatic, he's from, as he says every week in the chat, he hails from Phoenix, Arizona, and he's heading off over to these shores later in the year. And I was thinking about what sort of dates to think about for the Red Carmageddon gathering. I did say that if anyone had any preferences for dates that they would like to see that kind of thing happen, then email me. And not really, there's a few people have emailed me to say I'm definitely in, but no one's been really expressed a preference about dates, shall we say. Anyway, September the 19th, Rex from Arizona is going to be in town. He's going to be in Redcar. So, that's just settled it then. Red Carmageddon is going to be on Friday, September the 19th, 2025. If you fancy coming, just give me a shout. You know the email address, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. This is only a small house. I cannot offer accommodation here, but there are a plethora, a wealth of Airbnbs and guest houses and what have you in the local area. You'll not have problem finding somewhere to crash for the night, somewhere pretty comfortable as well. And I'll either stick, a good chunk of cash behind the bar, or, I'll pay for the meal at the curry house or whatever, just to show my appreciation for everyone travelling considerable distances. I think we'll struggle to get anybody travelling as far as Rex has, to come up to Redcar and have a beer and a curry and chat about guitars and just generally let off a bit of steam. So put that one in your diary if you're interested. September the 19th. In Redcar. Be there or be square. Now, I've been blethering quite a bit, so let's just scoop back into the chat, see what I've missed, and see if anyone's been shouting at me or whatever. Oh, Lammy, it's going to be a Saturday evening for the new big show. Well, that works out okay for me because, that's... I mean, at some point during the year, that Strictly Come Dancing show will be back on TV, and I'll, I'll plug in and listen to anything to avoid that. No offence, Lammy, but that would be a great alternative while me missus is watching the Sequined Has-Beens foxtrotting around Elstree Studios. So, yeah, Saturday night, that'll be a good one for me, mate. Thank you. Chip Young is saying, if they made that Harley Benton, the P90 is Cherry Sunburst, it would be hanging in my room right now. Sadly, not a gold top fan. I'm a bit ambivalent on gold tops myself. I don't dislike them, but I would find one hard to love. John, you've got the horn, someone said. How can you see? You can't see from the waist down. Have that pedal show got a horn? I don't know. I watched a few of those, but because they tend to be like long form videos, it's difficult for me to fit a that pedal show video in when I have, if a 15-20 minute video is sort of ideal length for me, because what tends to happen is I do the guitar lessons that I do tend to be between 40 and 60 minutes long. So if I've got somebody booked in at 1 p.m. and the next one is at 2 p.m., then, quite often the 1 p.m. Lesson is over by about 20 to 2, so I've got like a little kind of 20-minute window there where I can squeeze in a bit of YouTube. So I don't get to often see like a lot of the longer videos. Oh, the chat just jumped in. Mark Kerno, if I could do a drum roll, that would earn one of those. I don't like E-flat major chord. It gives me the E-flat GBs. E-flat GB, yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's only, I haven't even had one beer yet. But yes, a joke that can only be appreciated by somebody with a music theory knowledge. And Rent a Killer saying, anyone else's live stream keep buffering, or is it just me? I think you're the only one that's said so, mate. Jimmy James, only 94 watching, a little light today. I've got 148 on my little ticker up here. But I'm just grateful. I'm just not sat here talking to me bloody self. Do you know what I mean? It's I used to do a sort of a late night jazz show on a teeny, wincy little community radio station. You're listening to the Jazz Quarter with John Robson for the best in contemporary and classic jazz with me right here on whatever the station was called. And I did used to think, late night jazz station, like late night jazz show on a tiny community radio station. Am I literally just sat here talking to myself? And I think I probably was. Anyway. Stephen Elliott, you're saying, how about some Wishbone Ash solo analysis? I did do Blowing Free years ago, but the two considerations for me on those solo analysis videos were that they were simply not getting the views. I do like 6 videos a week. 6, is it? Yeah, well, including the live stream. Like, let's say 5 videos in a live stream each week. And the bottom ranking one every week was always the solo analysis video. Every week. The numbers don't lie. So that wasn't doing me any favours in the algorithm, the fabled YouTube algorithm that everybody claims to understand, but nobody really does. I just got the feeling it wasn't doing me any favours. And there's about a day's work in each of those videos, and then the monetization gets kind of snaffled off me because somebody spuriously claims copyright on it. It was just, I felt like it was just, not really working. So I'll still keep on doing the solo analysis videos for the monthly Patreon thing. Maybe I could do a Wishbone Ash thing there. So if you want to see more solo analysis videos, along with a lot of other content, monthly podcast, all the tabs and jam tracks, and if you're a Tier 2 supporter, you get a weekly blog, you get a weekly reaction video, you get a twice monthly hangout with me and the other Tier 2 lads on Zoom. £6 a month. £6 a month. What else can you get for £6 a month? And it's like you can get more of me if that's what you want. But yeah, so I'll probably keep on doing. Well, not probably. I am going to keep on doing the solo analysis stuff for Patreon. But for the moment on YouTube, until things change, then it's not worth the investment of time and effort, I'm afraid. Thank you, Calby and the Rocco Cat, saying Patreon Tier 1 and Tier 2 are so worth it. Anyway, excuse me. I need a refill. Let's do the perfect pour. Everybody's going to type flake in the chat anyway. I know you are, aren't you? Because that's what you do. But I'm not kidding here. Something about the fact that this has got a stainless steel liner on this tankard. It does make for a less foamy, flaky kind of 3-inch thick head on the beer when you pour it, and it keeps you don't realize when you're drinking out of a glass how much your beer warms up as you're drinking it, but this keeps it absolutely fridge temperature all the way to the end. Shadow, there we go, flake. Stephen Edger saying, been getting into Jeff Beck backing tracks. Can't get close to his technique, but enjoying the challenge. No one gets close to Jeff Beck's technique. I did, as my little tribute to him when he sadly passed away I did a version of "'Cause We've Ended as Lovers." I just put like a little backing track together for it and did my take on it. And I was a bit nervous about posting that, actually, because you've got to get it right. You can't, because anything else would seem disrespectful. And in the end, I decided to just play the tune as I would play it, rather than trying to be disrespectful and impersonate Jeff, because you can't. He was just beamed in from another planet, wasn't he? And he was one of those guitar players that the kind of thing I really admire, which, there are certain guitarists who came to prominence in the 60s and then into the 70s, that their sound, their technique, their signature, what they do, just sort of crystallized at some point in the early 70s. And that's it. That's what they've done for the rest of their career, and continue to do in some cases. But Jeff was always just pushing it a little bit, striving for, you could listen to it. Every time you listen to a Jeff Beck album, you heard him doing something that you'd not heard him do before. And I just think that was so admirable. Mr. Chris is saying, did you ever review that Framus? I don't ever remember reviewing a Framus, Chris. But the volume of stuff that I push out, I might have done. I don't know, because I go through some of I've got like a big Dropbox folder full of all of the reviews and stuff, and basically the videos that I've done, and there's stuff in there that when I look at it, I genuinely don't remember doing it. So I can't say categorically no, but I don't think so, mate. Triple Distilled is saying, love Jeff's appearance on the Hootenanny with Hi-Ho Silver Lining. Yeah. I wonder how much Jules Holland had to kind of schmooze Jeff to play that one, because there's a challenge for you. Find an interview with Jeff Beck where he has anything other than disdain for that track, and kind of being strong-armed in recording it by Mickey Most. So let's have a look, see what else I've missed. Just have a quick scroll up through the chat, and then we'll get into the viewers' guitars for this week. Let's have a wee look. Dave Faintish has just got a white VS6G after being after. That's the vintage SG copy, isn't it? The VS6. I briefly had one of those for like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then I realised that at the time I wasn't really ready for an SG. Let's have a quick look. Gordo Cannock saying it's just froze here in Calgary, but it could be the local feed into the building. I'm not seeing anyone else complaining about the buffering, so hopefully it's just localized problems. Hopefully I don't have a problem at this end, given that I've got a full day's worth of lessons booked in tomorrow. I think I've got 7 or 8 booked in tomorrow, and I think all but one of those are on Zoom. So yeah, no, two of them are in person. I beg your pardon. Jimmy James is saying my browser crashed, but it's back. Raymondo is saying, how does one contribute to viewers' wives? Just send me the picture, mate. Just email me a picture of. It can be your guitar, it can be your bass, it can be your amp, it can be anything that you use to make a musical noise with, apart from maybe one of these. Just ping me a picture, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. Let me now navigate to the relevant folder. I've just gone past it, so let me go to it again. There it is, and inside my Dropbox, I have a folder called YouTube, and inside YouTube, I have a folder called Finished Videos and another one called Livestream. Inside the Livestream folder, I've got Viewers Guitar Picks, and there, I'm just opening the picture there, and this is a nice looking little collection of gear here. Let's just put this up on screen by doing that. And then that, and you should now all be seeing Brad Dowell's rig. Look at that lovely Les Paul. Does anyone else have a preference for pickguard on or off? I like it on, but for when I'm playing, I don't know why. I just like looking down and seeing it, especially now the more observant amongst you have noticed that I've got a taut pickguard on my Les Paul. But yeah, I think that just looks really, really good with it off. Nice orange, what's that? Orange TH30 amp, Marshall cab, few well-chosen pedals there, and that's his rig. And, you know, that's my kind of rig. Did you see Henning Pauly demonstrating that head rush thing today? If hell exists, it would look like the menu system on that thing. Maybe I'm just a crusty old dinosaur, but that's more my kind of setup there. Moving on, we've got Mr. Chris in his younger days. There he is. I've seen many a picture like this back in the days when I used to do the working men's clubs in this part of the world. You know, this is the picture that you give to your agent and goes on all of the posters. Chris Miles, he was going out under the moniker of back then, you know, and this is the kind of thing that would have been up in the foyer of the said social club or what have you, you know, kind of, you know, top guitar vocalist Chris Miles, you know, and there he is with his Epiphone Les Paul there, looking quite the rock star, it has to be said. Next up, we've got this is Dave Roberts Jackson, Jackson Stealth EX Professional, made in Japan. Not my cup of tea, it has to be said. I'm not really into, you know, the whole sort of pointy headstock, super strap, Floyd Rose kind of thing. But, you know, if that's what you're into, then, you know, there's two names in that field, aren't there, really, that everybody would just kind of flock to, Ibanez and Jackson. And, you know, it kind of makes me very nostalgic for the 80s, seeing guitars like that, you know, when, you know, you just need the mullet haircut to go along with it. But yeah, what nice looking guitar, mate. And there is an argument to be said that, you know, it's a do anything guitar, isn't it? You know, you've got the humbucker, you've got for the sort of big shouty high gain stuff, you've got the single coils for the stratty kind of Knopflerisms, and you know, if you're into such things, you've got the tremolo that will supposedly never go out of tune. I could never get a Floyd Rose to stay in tune, but there you go. But yes, thank you for sharing, David. And another one from David. Now this is much more my kind of thing. His Yamaha Revstar Professional. I believe that's the top tier of the Yamaha Revstar range. I had the bottom tier, the RSE, the Element version of it. That was a lovely guitar, and it was a very close call as to whether at the time I hung on to that or I hung on to the Les Paul. In the end, I chose the Les Paul, but I am getting a little bit gassy for for one of the upper echelon of Revstars with the stainless steel frets and so on. I tried one the other day that has that passive boost in it, and that's a really useful little feature. It's like having an extra channel on your amp. And what have we got here? George Wall, his Les Paul Studio Smartwood. I remember when these came out. This was this will have been in sort of the mid-2000s or thereabouts, wasn't it? Where they started making Les Pauls out of different types of timber. Obviously not a huge sales success but because I think they were discontinued. But I bet they become really collectible now, because isn't that usually the way with any Gibson guitar, especially, but Fender as well. Something that they come out with, they test the market, it doesn't really work, so they discontinue it. Then on the used market, the prices usually kind of at some point will skyrocket. Then Graham Campbell's Gretsch Electromatic 5622T. That's just rockabilly heaven, that, isn't it? When I was an adolescent, about 13, I was mad, absolutely kind of crazy about the Stray Cats. And just to have had a Gretsch guitar of any kind, that would have really pleased the living daylights out of me. Since tried one, didn't really get on with it, but I can understand the appeal. It's just got that big old. It's just a cool looking guitar, isn't it? I mean, there's just no two ways about it. And this is Len McIver's Troublemaker Telecaster, one of the first run of the USA built ones. Trogley on his show had a lot of nice things to say about these guitars, and Len has got this one up for sale. He's after a Burns Marvin guitar, so if you've got one of those and you fancy this hybrid Les Paul Telecaster thing that Fender did a few years ago, then get in touch with me, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and I'll put you in touch with Len, or maybe if you just fancy buying this off Len, I can put you in contact with each other and maybe facilitate the sale. But that is if it didn't have the big CBS headstock, that would be, I might be on the phone to Len myself. It's strange how little things like the headstock shape can be a thing that you just no, maybe not for me. But it's a twin humbucker Telecaster. What's not to like about that? Then this is Pete, the very, very, very talented chap who did me the caricature that you see on the thumbnail of all of my videos, on the thumbnail of today's live stream as well. In fact, he's just treated himself to an artist guitar. Artists are one of those brands. They seem to fly under the radar a little bit. I had the TC59, was it, or whatever it was, the twin humbucker Telecaster. Surprise, surprise, coming from me. Oh, yeah, I think that's a Burns Marvin in the background there. Strangely, we were just talking about that. I had the twin humbucker version of this in the non-relict version, and Pete has chosen to go with the relict version. He's like me. He's not madly keen on the relicking, but he's absolutely in love with the guitar. And you can't go wrong with a Telecaster, can you? Let's see what's next. What have we got next? We've got this is Theme Tunes, Chickenbacker. Yes, it is. It looks like a Rickenbacker, but it's not a Rickenbacker. It was made in a factory in China, basically. And as you can see, he opted not to have the misleading brand name on the truss rod cover there. And he's absolutely swearing by this. He loves it. It's got that proper Rickenbacker tone, apparently. It's not passing itself off as being the genuine thing by putting a protected brand name on it. So, I think this one just, kind of sails the right side of the line if you are, kind of squeamish about, kind of owning something that purports to be something it isn't. Nice finish on it, though, isn't it? Really nice little finish on that. And as I say, Theme Tunes is very happy with his purchase. And then, often first through the door, first one in the chat. This is Rent to Kill's little collection of guitars. What have we got here? We've got an Epiphone, looks like one of the entry-level Les Pauls, and then an Ibanez of some description. We've got this lovely Tokai here. That's obviously like with the block inlays and stuff. That's looking like some sort of Tokai replica of a 70s Les Paul Custom. A Glary guitar. I haven't had one of those in a while. Might have to get another one. And then, pretty much the definition of a solid workhorse guitar, a Yamaha Pacifica. As Rent to Kill said, there's nothing flashy there, but he adores them all and they sound great. So there you go. That is this week's little look at the viewers' guitars, or readers' wives, as some of you reprobates insist on calling it. Anyway, I'm just going to have a little bit of a swally. And I need to... No, we've got a viewer's tale coming up this week. And we're going to get to that in a moment. But I just want to give you... back in focus. A little bit of an update on my custom-built guitar coming from Agrajag Guitars. I paid the deposit a little while ago. A healthy sum, it has to be said. Then James said, right, okay, you've booked your place on the waiting list. I'm not jumping the queue or anything like that. And then he got in touch with me this week, and spreadsheet giving me all the specs and everything, and just me okaying it. Made a couple of changes, and fired it back to him, and then we agreed on a final price. And I was thinking, well, okay, yeah, that's another chunk of money I need to find, and it'll be, I'll kind of just squirrel a little bit away every month. And he got back to me again and said, you do know you're putting a lot of unnecessary cost into this build, don't you? I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, what I've got to do is basically go out and buy a neck blank and a body blank. And then using Fender templates, because it's a Telecaster style build, using Fender templates, I've got to basically make those raw lumps of timber into, kind of a Telecaster body and a Telecaster neck. He said, they're a good quality, really kind of fun, reputable Telecaster bodies and Telecaster necks that you can buy that mean I'm not having to, spend days, shaping and flattening and radiusing and all that kind of woodworky sort of stuff that luthiers tend to talk about, and we can crack on with a build, and it's going to save you a chunk of money. So basically, instead of being 2,000 plus change, it's now going to be 1,200 plus change, just by making that little compromise there with going with a ready-made body and a ready-made neck. It's still going to be an Agrajag build. It's still going to have his logo on it. It's still, the body and the neck will be, the neck will be refretted with my choice of Jescar jumbo stainless steel wire, and everything else about it will be the same. It's just like, it's a bit like, how Lotus, you would never find a Lotus engine in a Lotus car. They'd always have like Ford or Toyota engines in there, but it was still a Lotus car. That's sort of the approach we're taking. It's saving me a bunch of money, and I'm going to get the guitar sooner. How good does that make me feel? Anyway, let's just have a look. Michael Purcell, here's some money to the guitar fund. Thank you, Michael. You are a gentleman, sir. That is absolutely stellar of you. I can't tell you how grateful I am. Thank you so much for that. And then we have Searching for Tone as well. He's for your signature 8-string. Get some active pickups for it. Yeah. I'm going to take that as the joke that it was intended as, Searching for Tone. But thank you so much, mate. That is very, very generous of both of you. And don't forget, if you have the little blue spanner next to your name in the chat, then you are a moderator. So please feel free to put your link in the chat for your YouTube content. Lammy, thank you so much. Carla Trem, please. I don't think that's going to happen, Lammy, but thank you so much anyway. Yes, a Carla Trem on a Telecaster. What do you think this is? 1986. Thank you so much. I'm still kind of blown away by the generosity that you gave me a couple of weeks ago when it was the 58th anniversary of my earthly debut. Thank you so much to all of you. I'm we've got a great little community going here, and I can't tell you how much I look forward to these Friday night beer and chat sessions. And you're all a bunch of mates basically, and thank you for your generosity, and thank you for turning up here on a Friday and watching a fat bald fella talk nonsense for an hour. Anyway, viewers' tales. This one comes from Derek Stopperton, and he says, "Morning, John. You mentioned on your Friday you're short of brush with fame tales. I'm not sure if this counts. You be the judge. Once upon a time, I'd just finished a day's plumbing at the Science Museum in London and was leaving the main entrance to cross Exhibition Road. A black cab was passing, and the two passengers in the back had their heads and arms out of the window waving at me. It was Boy George and Marilyn. It was about 5 p.m. on a Friday, and I guess they'd had a little something. Yeah, maybe a little bit of the old, Bolivian pixie dust, perhaps. I didn't wave back, wasn't a fan, but remember it well. I wonder if George remembers the handsome ginger man. He says, I think Marilyn passed away years ago. We caught up with that, and he's still around. Enjoy your weekend, John. As always, all the very best. Del. So, yeah. There's a brush with fame. Boy George and Marilyn, no less, waving at you out of a cab. It's a brush with fame, isn't it? So if you've got any stories like that, anything where you've met a rock star or someone, it doesn't have to be a rock star, could be a famous actor, could be, someone from the realms of Hollywood or television or something like that. Even if it's just like the weatherman off the TV, and they were an absolute gentleman, and couldn't be polite, or if they were the opposite of a gentleman, just put it down in an email, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and ping it across to me, and it'll get read out. I promise you. Searching for Tonsing, I wouldn't subject these fine people to my channel. Well, I watch it, mate. It's good enough for me. Do you know what I mean? Have we got another one in there? Let's have a look. Mark Gowans, you are a gentleman, sir. For a Les Paul, I'd like the option of a clear pickguard. I don't like guitars that have been beautifully painted and had a horrible bit of white plastic stuck on the front. It's just horrible. That is one of the main things, actually, about Strats, that I wouldn't say it's the thing that puts me off Strats. I don't dislike Strats. I just don't. I don't have a love affair with them. Stratocasters are like having an ex. Do you know what I mean? For me, an ex that you still get on okay with, but you just don't want to be with them all the time. But yeah, it's the fact that a big lump of a big part of the real estate on the front of the guitar is just sort of clinical white plastic in many cases. Rent to Kill saying, how's the lovely Dougal this week? As the intro music for the stream was playing, I could hear the missus downstairs going, Dougal, no, Dougal, leave that alone. Dougal, if I have to come through there and get you, you know what it'll mean. So he's been good for me all day. Then the wife gets home from the market about 4:00, and that's when he starts acting up. So, Nella Yema, what you saying there, mate? Lee Trevino handed me a Rolling Rock beer when I worked at an airport. When I shuttled him out to his plane, we chatted briefly. He was a great guy. Lee Trevino, golfist. I think, isn't he? I don't follow such things, but I think he's plays bats and balls of some description. I think he's either golf or cricket, as it's sometimes called. Searching for tone is going, my wife's always yelling at our buggers whenever my camera is rolling. Yes, there's been more than one video where you've heard Dougal in the background. We've got like this little webcam thingy in the living room with an app that you can look at on the phone. So let's see if I can show you it. See where he is. No, he's not there, so I won't show you the picture because the wife's got her feet up on the sofa. She'd go mad with me if I showed that picture, which means he's probably outside that door on the landing. Anyway, where are we? Let's have a wee look. I'm blethering a lot and not taking a lot of notice of the chat. I do apologise. Doc Alders is saying that's why tortoiseshell pickguards are invented. You got to love a tortoiseshell pickguard if you haven't seen it already. The Les Paul Now Sports one, and I just think it really suits that guitar there. I do know that some people, find them an abomination, but I don't care. It's my guitar. Oh, Paul Taylor. Sorry I've missed the last few Patreon Tuesday chats. Life's been a bit of a roller coaster. Have a beer and hope to see you on the next one. Yeah, the next Patreon Tier 2 chat will be, let's have a look when that is. We had one this week, so it'll be week after next, 18th of March, 7 p.m. UK time. It's basically like this. It's just people having a beer and a chat. And but instead of typing it in, you're kind of on screen on Zoom with me, and we can because we don't have to worry about it being a public chat. We can say things that necessarily we might not feel comfortable saying, in a public arena. If you want to know which YouTube channels I avoid assiduously. And the reasons why, for example, then such things like that often get discussed. Steve Cassidy's saying that's let's put you up on screen, mate. I can read it easier. That's actually quite a unique look. Don't think I've ever seen a Les Paul in that finish with taut. Nice one. Yeah, I mean, I would have tortoiseshell shirts if I could because I just like the look of it. Do you know what I mean? It is a look that I like, but I understand it turns a lot of people off. Cal B saying we might swear and all. Oh, just occasionally the odd the odd little F-bomb drops out. But then again, if you want to hear more of that sort of thing, go and watch Mile House Studios. I've got his SG video to watch later. I saw that one kind of turn up in my feed, but I didn't have time to watch it earlier. If you're not watching Mile House Studios, then go and check him out. He is this insane guitar builder who is just incredibly funny. Basically, talented and funny, informative. What's not to like? Go and watch him. Taut t-shirts as merch might be a hard sell. Yes. Anton saying, what's said in Patreon chat stays in Patreon chat. Indeed. What's that? It's just skipped again. Peter Nicholson is saying, have you ever used a guitar synthesizer pedal? Not a guitar synthesizer pedal, but I did check out like this VST synth plugin that was like pitch to MIDI a couple of years ago. And I came to the conclusion that the way that I play just simply isn't clean enough to make use of such things. I've never tried like a hex pickup guitar MIDI thing, maybe that would make a difference. But the pitch to MIDI things that I've tried, it's always just been very glitchy, and it's you've got to really play clinically, and not. I find that it doesn't work for me if I use vibrato or anything like that. So you got to play so mechanically that you might as well just program it in the DAW, which is what I do now for any MIDI parts. But no, I haven't tried one. It's just a big investment to put a hex pickup on a guitar and then hook it all up and everything, to find out that maybe it's not for you. So no is the short answer. Michael Purcell is saying, could you get a Moore GTRS guitar tools review? I'll keep my eyes open. I'll put some feelers out. Let's put that on there. Moore GTRS. I'll put some feelers out. I do have a sneaking suspicion that there's one video I made a little while ago which has sort of not exactly scuppered, but kind of impaired my chances of getting guitar companies to send me stuff. Though I will explain more in an upcoming video. Well, you might recall I did that a video about that fret polishing system, which I won't name, and it worked, but it was just basically a bit expensive for what it was, and didn't work any better than the standard option of a bit of wire wool, really, or some fret erasers. And I said as much in the video, and the company weren't very happy with me. I think perhaps word has got out that it's don't send stuff to that fat lad in Redcar, because he might just be honest about it. We shall see, but I'll put the feelers out, mate. We'll kind of see what we can do. Nella Yema is saying, you sure get good sounds out of the blue guitar amp, too. Well, thank you for that. I did a video on amp sims a little while back, and there were a few comments that where people were saying that my guitar sound was less than optimum, shall we say. And in the end, I just thought, well, okay, you don't like it, I do. Kind of, you like raspberry jam, I like strawberry. And that was the end of it. But it's nice to know that not everybody thinks the guitar tones I get are abysmal, which is what one person said. But fair enough. That's his opinion. He's entitled to it. Jay Aoyong is saying Fretilizer. I think that's what it was called, mate. Yeah. But they'd taken that ridiculous step of missing all of the vowels out of the word. So when I saw FRTLZR, to me, in my mind, and maybe this says something about me, in my mind, it just read as fart laser. But there you go. Maybe that says something about me. Anyway, on that note, fart laser, we're going to wrap it up again for this week. Thank you once again, everybody, for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute bollocks for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. Apologies if I've missed your comments in the chat. If there's anything you really do want to kind of get to me, know from me, then just email me, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. Anyway, go and watch Steve Cassidy's video. It's coming up in about 7 seconds' time, and I'll love you and leave you, and see you next week. Thanks for watching, and time, gentlemen, please.